the Muslim sister, in 2006, she's about 12, 14 years old, something like that. Her house was next to a U.S. checkpoint. So these soldiers, they liked her. And every time she would pass by, they would show the thumbs up to her mother. So her mother, she kind of feared for her, and she would send her to her uncle's house to go spend the night. But one day they came in without their uniforms. And two men took turns raping her while one went inside and he killed her mother, her father, her 6-year-old sister. And then he comes out saying, "Oh, I've killed them all, they're all dead." And then he takes turns to rape her. And then they burn her body. And they try to burn the house down. The neighbors come and they see, and they say that one of her legs was bent, one was straight, her neck, her dress was all the way up to her neck. And you might say, oh, it doesn't happen as much. But if it happens once, it happens too much. The whole war, or the conflict of Banu Qaynuqa happened why? Because of the honor of one Muslim sister. She was in the area of the Jews, and what one of them did, he tied her dress so that when she got up, her awra was exposed. And a Muslim man happened to be in the area, and he was a true mu'min. He stood up and killed the Jew. So they ganged up on him, and they killed him. So the Prophet ﷺ started gathering the army to fight them. What happened at the time of when Mu'tasim was ruling? There's a Muslim sister who was imprisoned by the Romans, and he abused her. And she called out, "Mu'tasima," and he mocked her, and he said, "Yeah, the only way Mu'tasim will come is if him and his armies will come on white and black horses." So he's mocking her. He's like, "Yeah, they're going to come on white and black horses and come and rescue you." The man hears this, and he goes and he tells the Muslims, and the news reaches Mu'tasim. So Mu'tasim, he orders, I believe it was 18,000 black and white horses from around the world. And he goes, and he says his famous quote, that when the front of the army will be reaching there, the back will be leaving us. And he conquered that area and freed the Muslim woman. And she asked, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Mu'tasim." And he got that man, and he told her, "Tell him now that Mu'tasim is here on his black and white horses." And we need to realize the brother, the other day, he's not here right now, but he gave a good khutbah on how we should only fear Allah and not fear the kuffar or fear the government or the FBI or the CIA or the MI5 or the ISI. What are they going to do to you? You're not allowed to speak out against what's happening to your brothers and sisters. And the Muslim land has been occupied, and the Muslims are being slaughtered and to sit in their homes, like some so-called Muslim scholars say, that they're like, "Oh yeah, the Muslims just sit in their houses and just wait it out." The scholars have agreed that jihad becomes fard ayn on 4 conditions. And there's different types of jihad. You might say, "Oh, you need a ruler, you need a khalifa." Fine. Jihad, there's offensive and there's defensive. And jihad becomes fard ayn on 4 conditions. First, when the Muslim Khalifa calls you, he invites you, he tells you to prepare. It's your duty to go. And if it was fard kifaya and you went, and then you are fighting, the army attacked, and once that war has started, you cannot turn your back. That's a major sin. jihad became Fard Ayn there. And when the non-Muslims land in a Muslim land, then it becomes Fard Ayn. And also when Muslims of that area are not allowed, they're not able to expel the kuffar, then it becomes Fard Ayn. And there's a book by Dr. Sheikh Abdullah Yusuf Al-Zam, and it was actually a fatwa that he went to Mecca for Hajj, and at the time the Afghan Jihad was going on, and he got it signed by all these scholars, top ulama at the time. He got it signed by them, and we're talking about the likes of Bin Baz, Uthaymeen, we're talking about Albani, Shankiti, etc. The big ulama who went to Hajj that year. And he says in there that when the Muslims have been occupied by the kuffar, it is a duty, Fard Ayn on them to expel these kuffar. And if they cannot do it, this Fard Ayn spreads in concentric circles to the nearest land, until the Muslims have regained that land. Prophet ﷺ, he says in the hadith, that if you are busy with aina, and it's a form of transaction, business, and if you are busy in agriculture, and you are busy following the tails of cows, meaning you're busy with this dunya, and you have left jihad for the sake of Allah, Allah will not return you, He will humiliate you, and He will not take you out of this humiliation until you return to the deen. And if we don't do it, then Allah will replace us with others who are better than us. Allah says that. And the promise of Allah is true. We know that. That this religion will dominate the world one day, inshallah. All we have to do is our part. We have to do our part. Nuh alayhi salam had to do his part. He built a wooden ark. And it wasn't steel or iron or some hard metal or something. It was wood. But it withstood those waves, that water that took out the whole world. Why? Because Allah told him to do his part. He did his part. When Maryam alayhi salam, Allah told her to shake the base of the palm tree. And imagine if 100 men get together and they try to shake the base of the palm tree, then they won't get any dates. But she did her part, and Allah dropped dates for her. Allah says, يُرِدُونَ يُطْفِئُوا نُورُ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ. That the kuffar will try to extinguish this light of Allah. وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ. Allah will allow this light to go to completion. He will not let it get extinguished. Even though the kuffar might dislike this. We can take examples, lessons from the Battle of Khandaq, the Battle of the Trench. When Yushik al-Umam, the nations had gathered against them. Different nations had all gathered against the Muslims. And they had everything going against their favor. Their numbers, way outnumbered. They had about 10,000 versus about 3,000 Muslims maybe. They were starving, they had nothing to eat. And they had stones tied on their stomachs. And they came to the Prophet ﷺ and complained, "Oh Rasulullah, we're hungry." They showed them his stones. He lifted up his shirt, he had 2 stones.